Think back to a time when you were frightened in a video game. Just think about it, and think about why it scared you so much. What made the encounter so terrifying and almost caused you a heart attack or made you look over your shoulder in real life? Or just something that creeped you out at the very least. Horror in video games is something I consider to be more effective than in any other piece of media. Sure, I've seen tons of horror movies and only a few have truly scared me. But I think horror, when it's done well, is far more effective in a video game than anywhere else. Even in non-horror games, there are sometimes moments that are creepy or scary or just uneasy. I'd recommend checking out Nakey Jakey's video on the same topic, though I'll try my best to give different examples. Here are the games I'll be talking about on screen, and there'll probably be some spoilers for all these. Anyway, let's get into it, shall we? Half-Life 2 at this point has seemed like a pretty straightforward action-adventure FPS. I mean, you've already traveled lots of miles both on foot and in vehicles across the massive landscape around City 17. You've dealt with tons of Combine assholes and the Metro Police, and even a few zombies and the headcrabs that come along with them. The zombies in Half-Life 2, and even in the first game, are absolutely horrifying. Their screams of anguish, muffled by the headcrabs that have been sucked onto their faces, can make you feel very uncomfortable. Even more so when you get to Ravenholm. Before that, Eli Vance gives you the ominous warning never to go there.
Take Gordon out of here. Head for the coast. Do not go through Raven.
Dad?
Alex and Dog help you get to the secret passageway and out into the mysterious town you go. As soon as you step foot into Ravenholm, the entire tone of the game changes. It goes from being an action-adventure FPS into straight-up Resident Evil / Silent Hill horror. The creepy music sets in as you walk through this small shack and see bodies mutilated by saws, you see a hanging torso from a tree, and you have only recently received from Alex the gravity gun. Before, you were almost using it as a play toy. It's not until Gordon, and by extent you the player, enters Ravenholm that you realize the gravity gun's potential as a weapon too. You have no allies except for Father Grigori, the only survivor of Ravenholm who's a crazy pastor but helps you get out safely. Ravenholm has been abandoned after years of being hidden from the Combine, but when they discovered it, they threw tons of headcrab shells into it, turning all the citizens into these grotesque abominations that still scream when you shoot them. We don't go to Ravenholm as a terrifying level that will no doubt catch you off guard, and that's basically the point of me making this video. When I talk about a non-horror game utilizing a scary moment, it's usually so effective because it's a subversion of your expectations. And that's exactly what Ravenholm did for me when I first played it. Half-Life 2 is one of my favorite games of all time because of this level alone. Even if it didn't have it, I'd still think the game was great, but this really showed how bold Valve was, and when they actually used to make games, they used to do unexpected shit like this. And I miss it. What? There's a COD game on a video talking about horror stuff? Yeah, there is. And if you ask that question, you clearly haven't played every COD Zombies map. Especially World at War. I mean, my god, some of the creepiest fucking levels in video game history came from the first two maps of COD Zombies. You had Nocturne and Toten, and especially Verrückt. Nocturne and Toten immediately gives you a weird vibe from the second you load it up, because if you discovered it like most people did when the game first came out, you had just beaten the campaign and there was no other way to access it. So you get this creepy feeling as ominous music plays and a soldier's blinking his eyes, seeing creepy figures menacing towards him. Then there's more the next time he blinks, and then the next time he blinks there's one sprinting towards him, and then we fade out, get some creepy text written in blood that says Nazi zombies. When you spawn in, you hear this creepy as fuck demonic laughter, and you can see figures out in the fog slowly walking towards you. Their glowing orange eyes the only thing you can see until they're right up near the windows. The noises they make in World at War Noct specifically is very creepy. It almost sounds like animal roaring rather than screaming from a human. It's creepy as shit. And as the rounds go by, you get more freaked out. Their screams are getting louder and you can hear them from afar. You camp out, but you know that sooner or later they'll get you. I may be over-exaggerating the fuck out of this, but this map is truly creepy if you play in a dark room at night with headphones on and no music. Just creepy ambience, the sounds of your gunshots and footsteps, and the zombies. Assuming you're playing solo, there's no one else but you. Every game I've showed you so far has been pretty much exclusively non-horror games with some horror elements in them. Usually in just one level, except for COD Zombies, which is a whole different thing entirely. But Manhunt is the only game on here closest to a full-fledged horror game. I consider it more psychological horror and atmospheric horror. Most people just think of Manhunt as the most violent game ever made without a second thought about it. The game is very gory even today, and this is on the PS2. It's got tons of disturbing executions that you choose to do, and a very dark story. Aside from GTA 3, Manhunt was one of the early Rockstar games to show that they didn't give a flying fuck about controversy or what people had to say about violence in their games. They made this game, and even though it's super bloody and sometimes hard to stomach, it's got a great atmosphere and memorable characters to kill. There are tons of different gangs, including the Hoods, the Skins, the Innocents, the War Dogs, the Smileys, the Cerberus squads, but only one enemy fights alone, and that enemy is Pigsy. Throughout the game, it's teased you about this weird pig-like figure who's been chained up in some dark room where Starkweather's Cerberus squads have been feeding it human flesh. By then, Starkweather had been in your ear, and even though he was a sick bastard, you always felt more comfortable with him talking to you. But by this point, he's already stopped talking to you after attempting to get you killed. So without hearing his voice giving you company, you feel a lot more vulnerable. Even more so when you enter Starkweather's long-abandoned attic. It looks so decrepit and obviously hasn't been touched in a long time. As you traverse through the hallway, Jesus Christ! Pigsy jumps from around the corner with a chainsaw and he hits you, draining a chunk of your health. You have to run now, frantically searching for a shadow to hide in. You see some glass shards around and you stab him 3 times, which forces him to run upstairs and cower in fear. You force him upstairs as he chases you and steps onto a metal grate, leading many stories down. You saw his arms off, and then he falls to his death. It feels rewarding to kill Pigsy, especially because he was such a terrifying character. The game was full of creepy encounters and jump scares, but Pigsy's boss battle was definitely one of the most memorable. Hey everyone, so I just wanted to throw a little quick announcement at the end of this video that I'm currently, after this video is done, re-uploading because I had to re-upload it because of a copyright claim. Bullshit. When I'm done with this video, I'm going to be I'm going to start writing a review for a game. And this is a video I've wanted to make for a really long time. It is my favorite video game of all time. And if you've seen my top 15 favorite video games of all time, you already know what this is, and I already spent an enormous amount of time talking about it in that video. So I decided to just say fuck it and basically, just do a whole ass review on it as a separate video because I talked about it so much. I might as well just make a separate review on it. So that game is Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare, the original Modern Warfare. So I'm really excited for it, and this box is really old, as you can tell. It's I don't even know when I got this. Like, it was so long ago. Game of the Year edition, of course. So yeah, I mean, like I said, I'm just really excited to do this review because I just want to talk about this game so badly. I want to get it out there that this is the greatest COD of all time, at least in my opinion. You can debate about that if you want. I know a lot of people say Black Ops 2 is, but I'd say it's up there for sure. Black Ops 2 is a great game, but I just think COD 4 is just an incredible game. So yeah, I'm really excited to start working on it. And also, I should point out about the gameplay is that I'm going to be recording it on both Xbox 360 and PC, but my PC is very, very low end, so I'm going to have to record it in a probably lower resolution. It's going to look really terrible, or maybe it might not, I don't know. I have a decent resolution it can run at, widescreen 16:10 aspect ratio, which is weird that it runs as smooth as it does on this shitty PC. So, yeah, you're going to see a difference in quality in the campaign and multiplayer portions of the video. So just keep that in mind. And yeah. So I guess I'll see you next time. And I don't know when it's gonna be up, but I know that I'm almost done editing this video, the horror and video game stuff. Which, by the way, I'm considering also to make a part 2 of that, because there are some other games and other moments I want to talk about, including another COD Zombies map, which I think is the creepiest one out of them all, and Fallout 3, the vaults, and some of the backstory stuff, and we'll see what other games I pick. I might pick an actual horror game again. So, yeah. I will talk to you all later. Peace.